So for those of you who don't know, Strixhaven, a Curriculum of Chaos, was released on April 23rd, 2021, and is best described as, according to dndwizards.com, an introduction to the fantastical setting of Strixhaven University, drawn from the multiverse of Magic the Gathering, a tabletop collectible card game, and provides rules for creating characters who are students in one of its 5 colleges at the university. At the time, it was the newest official release for the famous fantasy tabletop role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons. So it's like D&D for people who actually like going to school and like going to school in a fantasy setting. So something that I've always wanted to do on this channel is take something that I particularly enjoy and then look at it through the lens of education, pedagogy, and my content area, being English, language arts, literature, and of course, composition and rhetoric. That's always a challenge I've faced on this channel because I've always wanted to be seen as super prescriptive and professional, and I was always afraid that if I dabbled into some of my interests while combining them with things that would be considered professional, that I would regardless still be seen as unprofessional. It's like one of those neat ideas you have and then you're like, oh, I'll remember this, and then you just don't. And I didn't want to do that with this specific idea. I wanted to try to take something that I enjoy and do my own personal spin on it, having to do with my lens of being an educator in the world of education. This was one of those instances where I was like, no, I should be allowed to dabble in my interests and I should be able to report out on them. And this has curriculum in it. And I love playing Dungeons & Dragons, and I love playing Magic the Gathering, the card game, so I'm going to talk about it. And I love that it's called Strixhaven, a Curriculum of Chaos, because not only is the title a little bit alliterative, but it also refers to a curriculum, which is the totality of a student experience that occur within the educational process. And this book discusses those very things, completely enveloped in the educational process of the characters within the world. It's not just a possible adventure a dungeon master could lead their campaign on, it's introducing you to an entire way of life, culture, academia, and the overall college experience. Like, you start with orientation, just like how you would in real life in academia. I would view this book as the substitute for your guidance counselor like you would have in real life. Like, this is the individual that lets you know what college is for you to eventually join, what relationships you can build or destroy, different teachers you could have, and the classes that you have to take and pass. Personally, I was just blown away by the sheer amount of information that was present, and it took me a good while to read through it, but I also felt myself wanting to look back and recheck things, and I feel like I caught something new each time I read through a specific section because it was just that dense of a piece of text. And I approached this text with a little bit of hesitation but a lot of hope in my heart because I was hoping that it would actually promote education, despite it very much being designed as an escape from reality. I know there's a lot of people who can also identify with this, but fantasy got me through middle school. Fantasy got me through high school. And I still use it when I'm struggling as that means of escaping reality. But the thing about fiction is that it has to be believable fiction. So despite there being magic all throughout this curriculum and incorporated into these classes and the higher university experience, I needed the magic to be grounded in the rules of that reality, for one, for me to accept it, and two, for me to actually enjoy it. This is definitely not a campaign that everyone would enjoy. I would say this is a very specific kind of D&D experience that you will either love or hate. I like it because it is more narrative focused with opportunities to build friendships and make enemies with different NPCs and one another while playing the campaign. I like the prospect that it can be more relationship focused, potentially favoring role-playing with lower combat opportunities. And again, that may be your cup of tea or it may not. So I would keep this in mind if you ever planned on running this campaign, but you could always add more combat as a world builder and DM if that is what makes your campaign thrive. And again, this was just a personal thing, but it just seemed to intersect with so many of my identities that I carry within myself that it was kind of a love at first sight situation for me. I have been a student. I am a teacher. I like academia. I've taught middle school. I've taught high school. I've taught college level. I've coached. I've advised. Just all of that combined with the 5 colleges at Strixhaven University, all of which are rich in lore, unique characters, and their signature focal points of studies in philosophy. The 5 colleges at Strixhaven University are Lorehold, the College of Historians that explore the past; Prismari, the College of Performing and Visual Arts; Quandrix, the College of Mathematics, Patterns, and Formulas; Silverquill, the College of Rhetoric, Words, and Communication; and Witherbloom, the College of Natural Sciences, Life, and Death. I will give all of my thoughts, opinions, and ideas on these 5 colleges in separate videos just because, again, it is so dense, you guys. There's a lot to read in this book, and so I don't think I would do any of the colleges justice in this university if I were to try to mash them all into one video. So I will try to give them the time of day and talk about each of them individually. Like, they all have deans and faculty. I will say that with all of the colleges, I really appreciate that each of these colleges are kind of grounded in areas of focus and content areas that are already studied in real life, and it gave a set of realism to this universe without using magic as a crutch. I like that magic is interwoven throughout the universe in this context, but I really truly enjoy that it's not just like magic focused. Otherwise, Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos, could have very quickly become a discount Harry Potter. And I like that there's that separation from those 2 realms having to do with how they approached magic in this context. This provides a bit of social relevance to the context of the world and helps us establish a role that magic can play for our characters when you are playing this, instead of just shooting lightning bolts at each other. Something else that I truly appreciate about Strixhaven's curriculum of chaos is that it presents an opportunity for experiences a lot of us who kind of gravitate towards Dungeons and Dragons and who may have otherwise never had a chance to attempt certain things when they went to school in real life. For example, I would never say that I identified as a popular kid. I was kind of that quiet girl reading a book in a corner, and if someone said, "What's up?" I would stare at them because I was too socially inept to actually engage in a conversation. And don't get me wrong, I definitely got better, but when I think back to middle school, I cringe constantly because I don't know how my classmates would have reacted to that. But in my defense, I don't know a whole lot of people who say, you know what, I really miss middle school. So what I'm saying is that this might give me the chance to try to be a popular kid despite me not having that experience when I was actually in school. And that's kind of like the silver lining of role-playing games. It allows you to try something new that disconnects you from your real life, and in a lot of ways that can be refreshing and a challenge to try something new in that manner. But of course in a safe space where you're with friends, just trying something new. And again, this might not be for everyone. If your ideal game does not involve going back to school, then this might not be the game for you. But I digress. Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos, presents a unique opportunity for players to start out their freshman year at a university involving magic, where you are able to declare a major, join extracurriculars, develop a social circle, and get accepted into one of the 5 colleges of your choice, while, of course, getting yourself involved in all types of shenanigans on campus. And that was my brief explanation of Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't be afraid to learn.